So tonight we're going to talk about unit conversions. You should have a pen, paper, calculator with you before you begin this lesson, because it will be very helpful for you in solving some of the problems we're going to talk about tonight. By the end of this lesson, we should be able to do two things. One, convert US units of measures to another, and two, convert SI units of measures to another. If we can get those two things down tonight, or at least a basic understanding, we're doing pretty good. Why do we even do unit conversions? Well, let's face it, the rest of the world doesn't work on US units of measure. If I go to Europe, we don't talk gallons of gasoline, we talk liters. We don't talk feet, yards, miles, we talk kilometers, we talk centimeters. So inevitably in business, we're going to convert, or in engineering, we're going to have to convert from one to the other. Or we may even just have to convert to different units. Maybe I don't have a tape measure that measures in feet and I need it in inches. I have to do the conversion. That's why we're learning it. A couple examples we have. I don't think any of these are shocking to any of us. But just so we know what we're going to be able to do, I should be able to convert 3 feet into inches. I might have to convert yards into inches or centimeters into meters. That's what we're going to learn tonight. We're going to use 5-step method and do the conversions. I'll walk you through each of the steps. And my example tonight will be converting yards, in this case 100, into feet. Step 1, we want to create what's called an equivalency statement. Basically, one thing equal to another. For example, 1 yard is the same as 36 inches. 1 mile is the same as 5,280 feet. And 6 ounces is the same as 1 pound. So when I talk equivalency, we're talking the same. I need 2 units that are the same. So if I'm working with yards and inches, I need to know what makes them the same. All right, step 2, I need a conversion factor. So the assumption is I've already done step 1, but my conversion factor simply is a ratio that equals 1. It's usually, or always I should say, my desired units over my given units. And it's built from my equivalency statement. So let's take a look. I want to convert 100 yards into feet. My equivalency statement from step 1 was 1 yard is equal to 3 feet. So we want desired over given. Well, what do we desire? We desire feet. What were we given? We were given yards. So if we look at our conversion factor, we should have 3 feet, right, desired over given, 1 yard. That's my conversion factor. Step 3, I need an equation. All right, we're going to have a standard default template for our equation. Again, right, we're converting 100 yards into feet. So what's my equation? There it is. I'm given some units, in this case 100 yards, times my conversion factor, which is desired units over given units, and I'm going to get desired units. That's my equation. Now let's fill in the missing pieces. What did we say our given units were? 100 yards. What's our conversion factor? Desired units, 3 feet, over given units, 1 yard. Somewhere I got to get feet. Let's go to step 4 and check that out. But remember, that's our conversion factor, 3 feet over 1 yard. All right. Cancel out the units. This is just a formal way of checking that we set it all up right before we do the math. All right. So we have yards, feet, yards. What's a yard over a yard? 1. Can we cancel that? Sure. So what do? Let's get it out of there. As long as we have, right, what are we left with? Feet. What do we want? Feet. Okay. I think we have our equation set up pretty well here. Last step, let's do the math. So 100 feet times 3. What are we left with? 300 feet. All right. Let's do our last step. Let's take one more shot at this and see if we can convert 42 inches to feet. First, what do we need? An equivalency statement. All right, 1 foot is the same as 12 inches. We all know that. 2, I need a conversion factor. Desired over given. What do we desire? Feet. What do we got? Inches. So what's our conversion factor? Desired over given should be the same as, good, 1 foot over 12 inches. Everybody okay? Now, we need to create an equation to solve. And we said our default was this. All right, let's fill in the missing pieces. Given units is what? 42 inches. What's our conversion factor? 1 foot over 12 inches. Okay, looking pretty good. What's our last step? Let's cancel out units to make sure we're still all in sync and everything's going to work out the way we want. What do we have? I've got inches over inches. Okay, I'm left with what? Foot, or in this case, feet. Okay, we're looking good. Let's do the math. So 42 times 1 over 12, right? Conversion factor gives me 3.5 feet. Everybody okay? All right. This would be a good time to pause. If you like, we're going to move on to SI, units of measure, and we're going to learn how to convert those. But if you want to go back, practice a few, go back through the video, this would be a great time to do it. All right, here we go. Converting SI units. First, what we got to do is get down with the nomenclature of what we're talking about, prefixes and powers, and how do we write them. So let's look at larger is on the left, smaller is on the right. I will give you this formula sheet. So you don't have to memorize this, you just have to be able to read it. Okay, some examples. 10 meters, that's what the M stands for, is the same as 1 decameter. Where did I get that? 10 to the first is the same as 10. All right? 1,000 liters is equal to a kiloliter. Well, where's that? There's my kilo, 10 to the third, 1,000 liters. Okay? 1,000,000 grams is equal to a megagram. Same thing, 10 to the sixth gives me my million. All right, so that's going up. We were talking meters, we're going up. This could have been the same as if it wasn't meters, let's say it was grams. I could have 10 grams is equal to 1 decagram. Could say 1,000 grams is equal to a kilogram. Okay, so the prefixes are in the SI unit is what tells us how much. Let's go smaller. Here we have 0.01 meters is the same as a centimeter. Where do we get that? There we go. It's 10 to the negative 2. 0.001 liters, same as a milliliter. And lastly, 0.000001 grams is the same as a microgram. Or I could say, what? 1,000,000th of a gram? Okay. So this is how we talk or how we state things in the SI system. So my prefix equals my power of 10. Deca, 10 to the first. Nano, 10 to the negative 9th. All right. So what do we do about conversion factors when we're talking about the SI system? Remember what conversion factor is given unit in the denominator, desired unit in the numerator. So I want to convert grams to micrograms. So what do we've got? I've got 10 to the negative 6 grams is equal to 1 microgram. All right. Or 1 microgram over 10 to the negative 6. What are those again? Desired over given. That's the same as, right, our equivalency statement, and then our conversion factor. So those are step 1, step 2. Equivalency statement, conversion factors. So step 1, step 2. All right. Let's look at megameters to meters. All right, here we go. I got 10 to the 6 meters is the same as 1 megameter. Or, if I write that as a conversion factor, right, desired over given, I've got 10 to the 6 over 1 megameter. Again, step 1, equivalency statement. Step 2, my conversion factor. So let's convert. I want to convert 103.2 centimeters to meters. My equivalency statement. Well, let's look at our chart. Remember, I give you this chart so that I can find centimeters. That's the same as 10 to the negative 2 meters. So that's 0.01 meters is equal to 1 centimeter. My equivalency statement. Now, conversion factor, right? Desired over given. I desire what? Meters over my given centimeters. All right. Step 3, cancel out my terms. I'm sorry, step 4, cancel out my terms. What do I result? When I do the math, I've got 1.032 meters. All right. So where did I get that? Well, let's check it out. We're multiplying what? 103.2 times 10 to the negative second. So let's look at our powers of 10 again. For those who have forgotten, right? We were doing this. 103.2 times 10 to the negative second. Move the decimal over to the left 1. I get 10 to the negative 1, right? I'm slowly getting rid of that negative 1 in the 10 spot. I finally get down to 10 to the 0. That gives me 1.032. That's my answer. All right. So far, so good, I hope. Pretty straightforward. Some things on the rules of X point before we leave for tonight. Just remember when I'm doing my rules of X point, 10 to the 0 is what? 1. That's where I want to get to. If I'm multiplying them, right? 10 to the m times 10 to the n, I add the exponents. So 5 plus a negative 2, I get 3. So 10 to the 5th times 10 to the negative 2nd, I end up with 10 to the 3rd. What if I'm dividing? All right, dividing, I subtract. 10 to the m over 10 to the n is the same as 10 m minus n. Let's look at it. So 10 to the 6th divided by 10 to the negative 1st. What do we say? We're going to subtract the exponents. That gives me 10 minus a minus 1, which is positive. I end up with 10 to the 7th. All right. All right, so that's everything for tonight. Hopefully you learned a little bit. If you want to go back and review the video, I highly suggest it. Try some of your own problems out. If you got questions, feel free. We'll talk about them tomorrow.